If you're a coach who wants to make more money, this video might be one of the most important ones you see all year. I'm about to share 7 money mindset tips that can easily double or triple your income. So if you're ready to make more as a coach, keep watching, because I'm about to show you how. Hey, my name's Jason Moss. I'm a multi-6-figure business coach, and I've helped thousands of coaches grow their businesses. And if you're looking for a roadmap that you can follow to help you get more clients more consistently, I put together a free Get More Clients guide for coaches that walks through so much more of my best advice. I'd love to share it with you. I think it'll be super helpful. And all you got to do to get it is click the link above or in the description down below. The first money mindset tip I have for you today, this is a big one, by the way. If there's nothing you take away from this video except this one tip, I think this video will be worth it. This is act as if. When it comes to making more money as a coach, a lot of people focus on the external side of things, the outside. In other words, they're focused on the marketing strategy, the sales tips, how do I get more clients in Facebook groups? It's super important. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's the truth. You cannot make more money as a coach until you become the kind of person who can hold the level of success that you say you want. And a lot of coaches struggle to make more to increase their income because they're trying to change the outside without changing the inside. If your identity does not align with that of, what you want, your subconscious mind literally will not let you have something. And so what will happen is you might be able to hit a certain level. Maybe you have one really good month, but then next month you're back to where you started. So acting as if. What that means, what you have to do is you have to focus on the inside first. And you have to become the person who can hold that level of success first before it changes on the outside. What this means is you start showing up every day acting as if you are already the person who is at the level of success that you want. So if you want to make 6 figures as a coach, you start asking yourself, well, how does a 6-figure coach show up in the world? How would I show up as if I were a 6-figure coach? And just try that on as an identity and walk through your day pretending you are that person before you actually are on the outside. When you do this, what will happen is first, it will feel really uncomfortable. It will feel like you're wearing a suit that doesn't really fit right. That's what happens when you're trying to shift your identity, right? Because there's like the old identity and the new identity that are kind of like battling it out. There's a survival mechanism that kind of kicks in. That old self or that old identity feels like it's dying. And so you'll feel like there's a part of you that's really being like cut away. And that can feel very threatening to that old story of who you think you are. So that's normal. You're going to have some of that. But as you start showing up more and more as this person, as if you are the 6-figure coach, as an example, you'll start feeling more in alignment with that identity. And what you'll start to see is that the outside will change effortlessly. It will not feel like you're like white knuckling your way to 6 figures. It'll feel more like a easy kind of flow. This is the number one key to making more money as a coach. You have to embody the identity of the person who can hold the level of income that you want. And that brings us to money mindset tip number 2, which is check your money stories. All of us have money stories. These stories are scripts or narratives or beliefs. And oftentimes these scripts were formed in childhood, or they were formed through, media, or maybe we had like a parent who said money is the root of all evil, or, rich people are terrible, or we saw some documentary when we were like 11 or 12 years old about how all these rich people like ripped people off. And these money beliefs, these money stories directly influence how much money you make and your relationship with money as a whole. Like when you think about money, when you hear the word money, do you feel like an icky feeling in your chest? If so, that's pointing you towards the fact that there are some unhelpful scripts or beliefs or stories about money that you may want to address. So checking your money stories is really about doing this work. It's about uncovering what those beliefs are. So for example, if you ask yourself, what do I believe about money? Maybe it's money is the root of all evil. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, is that really true? What you can do with these stories is you can actually start to question them. And you can do this work. I'm a big fan of Byron Katie. She has these 4 questions that she calls the work. And it's this process that you can use to question assumptions, basically beliefs that we just take as true. And you can take like a belief like money is the root of all evil. And you can ask yourself, is this even true? Is it? Is money the root of all evil? Well, I think of a lot of examples of money doing a lot of good in the world. A lot of people who have been incredibly generous, who have, given millions of dollars to good causes, and money is actually an amplifier. And so you can start to unpack these beliefs and these stories. And over time, doing this work can help you rewrite the script around your relationship with money. So it starts by doing this work. It starts with checking these stories, examining these beliefs that maybe have been unquestioned up until this point, and really reframing them and starting to develop some more helpful narratives around money. This is how you start to make more money in your life, by doing this work. And money mindset tip number 3 is to fall in love with rich people. What comes to mind when I say rich people? Do you think of greedy, aggressive, selfish people who just rip other people off and take advantage of people? Do you have negative associations with rich people? If that is you, it's going to be very hard to be rich. Because again, your subconscious mind will not allow you to become something it hates. That's its job, is to keep you safe. It's to protect you from pain. And so if it thinks that ultimate pain means being rich, how could you become rich? It's not possible, right? So again, this is going to create this like unconscious self-sabotage that starts to happen. The key to becoming rich, or even just making more money, is that you have to associate feeling good and pleasurable feelings with being rich, which means you have to fall in love on some level with rich people and shift the associations that you have in your mind around what it actually means to be rich. The truth is, there are lots of greedy, selfish, rich people who take advantage of people, but there also are a lot of really amazing, kind, generous, good-hearted people who have lots of money and use that money to change the world in incredible ways. And if you orient your focus more on that, you start to recondition your mind and start to associate more positive feelings with rich people. How do you do this? You can read biographies, you can watch documentaries, you can go out on YouTube and start watching videos of people who embody this, and start focusing more on that than on all the examples of people who are taking advantage of people and being greedy, right? Because there are plenty of examples of both. And where you orient your focus ultimately determines the relationship that you have with being rich. And if you can associate more positive feelings with being rich, you're more likely to become rich yourself. And this brings us to tip number 4, which is to give and receive, or the two-way flow of money. Here's the truth. In order to receive more money in your life, you have to get better at letting it go. And so if you're the kind of person, and I will put my hat into the ring and say, this was my struggle and still is to a certain extent. I was the kind of person who was taught, the best way to become wealthy is to save. As a result, I had this kind of sense of money where it was like, I needed to hang on to every penny. It was really hard for me to start making investments into coaches and mentors and people to help me grow my business because of this. And as a result, it was really difficult to make more money. And the thing that really shifted and changed for me, I remember, I had a friend who was also growing a coaching business, very successful guy. I remember hanging out with him and watching him make investments, and the difference, the contrast between seeing how he would make investments. Like I remember the first time he invested, it was like $30,000 or $40,000 into a coach. I thought he was crazy. A couple of years later, he's running like a business doing multiple 7 figures every single year. But I saw him make investments and how he thought about making investments. And I thought about my own life, and I saw how he was taking off, and I was really stuck at a certain income level. And I realized that my inability to let go of money was actually blocking my flow of receiving it. As I opened up those channels both ways, both the giving of money and the receiving of money, both those things increased over time. Looking at the relationship in your life between giving and receiving money and asking yourself, is there a block in one of these directions? Do I need to open up the channel a little bit more? And as you can do that more and more, you'll find that money will more easily flow into your life, and you'll have an easier time making more money because of it. And that brings us to money mindset tip number 5, which is to get clear on your why. Money loves a purpose. And in order to make more money, you have to have a reason for it, particularly when you get beyond that point where you're just meeting your basic needs. If you want to increase your income beyond that, or honestly, even if you want to get to that point, you have to have a reason for making more money. If there's a vacuum of purpose, then there's really going to be no drive or motivation or momentum behind you making more. So what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, why do I want to make more money? And really coming up with a compelling reason for you. I can't tell you what it is for you, but I can tell you, you need a reason. And if you don't have a reason, it's going to be difficult to make more money because you need a reason in order for that money to come. Money mindset number 6 is to condition your nervous system. We all have this subconscious part of our minds that is really designed to do one thing, which is prevent us from experiencing pain and bring us closer to the things that are associated with pleasure. And so our relationship with money and how we see money really determines the balance between those two things. And if you associate pain with having money or having more money and pleasure with not having it, then it's going to be really difficult to make more money. So what you can do over time, if you want to grease the wheels of your nervous system and make it easier to make more money, is associate more and more pleasure with making more. And the way that you do this is by rewarding yourself when you make more money, doing things that associate feeling good with making more money. It's kind of like the Pavlovian dog effect, where like they had the dogs and they would, ring a bell every time they would feed the dog food. And then suddenly, they would take away the food and they just ring the bell and the dogs would like start salivating, right? Just because they heard the sound of the bell. So what did the dogs do? They linked up, eating food with the sound of the bell. And through that conditioning, they were able to associate those two things. Same thing goes with making more money. So what you can do when you make more is you can reward yourself. Go treat yourself. Go, out to get ice cream. Go take an incredible trip when you have a great month in your business. And when you can do things that feel good and associate feeling good with making more money, and you will make it easier for your mind to naturally pull you towards greater and greater levels of wealth. This is what it takes, conditioning your nervous system. And when you can do this, it will be much easier to make more money. And that brings us to number 7, which is to get in the room with wealthy people. You might have heard this idea that you are the sum of your 5 best friends. And it's true. And they've done studies like this, and they show that everything from your weight to your income is correlated with the people that you surround yourself with. So one of the best ways to make more money is by surrounding yourself with people who are wealthy. One of the reasons why I always recommend people join us inside Coaching Launchpad. It's not just about the training that you're getting. It's not just about the mentorship and the guidance. It's about getting in the room with really high caliber, high level coaches. Our community is one of the best in the world. And because people have paid a lot of money to be there, they're already succeeding, many of them at a really high level, and they're committed and they're serious about their coaching business. So you're in the room with people who are really high level coaches, and you're naturally going to level up as a result of that. There are so many different ways to do this. You can read books, biographies, you can just go to networking events, masterminds. So many different ways that you can get in the room with people. But looking at how can I surround myself with people who really are living the life that I want to live at a certain income level that I want, and how can I do that? If you can do that over time, it's going to be so much easier to get to that level yourself, because you'll start to see, this is possible for me too. These people are no different than me. So it's one of the biggest things that I learned, from hanging out with my multi-7-figure CEO friend. It was he's no different than me. I could do this too. And that really helped me, just seeing that. So many magical things that start to happen as a result of just being in the room with people at a really high level. If you want to reach a certain level of income, just asking yourself, how can I get in the room with more people at that level, is a really great way to make more money as a coach. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these money mindset tips are a big key to your success as a coach. You also got to have a solid strategy in place to grow your business, to get more clients, to market yourself online. And so if you're a coach who wants more clients more consistently, you're wanting to increase your income, to make more, and you want a roadmap that you can follow in your business to help you make that happen, I put together a free Get More Clients guide for coaches that walks through so much more of my best advice to help you do this. And you can get it completely free by clicking the link above or in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to love that one too. So click the link on the screen to go check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.